All right, so Three Ninjas Podcast, Domino, Hess Jones, Bobby. And as many of you know, we didn't go to BlerDCon this year. You know, we wasn't with that vaccine shit. Yeah, but big boo. But you're not here yet, so chill. So, right, we didn't go to BlerDCon. We wasn't with the vaccine shit. It's not that we're, against vaccines. It's, we ain't with the first wave of vaccines. But, we plan on getting it. What it looks like with BlerDCon, we missed one of the biggest blurred blow-ups in recent history. I'm kind of mad that we weren't there to witness it live, but we do have the man that got all the smoke for that blow-up on the line right now. Live and direct, we have the co-founder or founder of BlerDCon. We have Hilton George. Hilton, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right, brother. How y'all doing?
All right.
Good, man. Can't complain. Doing better than you, I want to assume.
I'm doing great.
No, you doing good. All right.
Yeah, you're doing good.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. You gotta take the hits with the misses in life. That's how it works.
Now, that vacation you went on, was that planned before, or you saw that black lash like, yo, I got to get the fuck out of here?
Black lash.
Man, listen. The TVA came to me and said, you probably don't want to. We can't mess with the time stream, Hilton, but you probably want to go to Miami right after BlerDCon. just
like,
book
I
a flight.
see it.
You'll know when you see it, right?
You're right.
Now that had been booked for months beforehand. Frankly, we really didn't know what we were going to do as far as numbers, and we were expecting a pretty subdued crowd, more akin to what we did in our year one, which is just under 2,000. But we ended up doing closer to 4,500. So it was a lot of people and a lot going on, and so it was a lot of work during that weekend. So it was definitely a well-timed, even in the best of scenarios, vacation.
Okay, good to hear. Now, how was AwesomeCon?
AwesomeCon was really good. We have a relationship with them, with Left Field Media, that's been really productive. As you know, they brought in us and our cosplay winner. They put our booths together. So I don't know if you saw the pictures, but we had like one big long booth. We had like this huge expanse right in front of our station. So we turned up the music. We always bring music to our booths and DJ and everything. And we just blew the whole left side of the convention center out for 3 days. And it was really, really dope. A lot of positive energy. I mean, it was just a lot of people who hadn't been out. A lot of people who came to BlerDCon came to AwesomeCon, but then the people who go to Otakon are not necessarily the same crowd that goes to AwesomeCon. So it was good to see two separate crowds of people and kind of get full circle. But it was a real good time. A lot of walking. The convention center makes you walk. But it was a real good time. We had we had some great parties, some great little reunions. And I mean, we're already promoing for 2022. So it was some good promo for that too.
Good. Now, minus the bullshit, how was BlerDCon 2021 to you from, like, I guess, the outsider's experience, or just your experience in general?
I will be the first to say that I'm the last person anybody should ask about how BlerDCon went. I never actually get to see BlerDCon.
Okay, so minus the contest, right? How were the panels? How was the ambiance, the feel, the blackness? Like, how was everything besides
the con?
the con, yeah, not just the fucking, that 1 point everybody blew their top.
No, actually, we came out of BlerDCon. This thing didn't hit until Monday. So, we came through BlerDCon and people had a blast. All of the reports, and the feedback that we got from people, just some of the stuff we did was new. We had a third stage outside in the food truck rally area where we had 23 acts performing. And, there's some people who had some suggestions, maybe like what kind of acts that they would want to see and that kind of stuff. Scheduling, is always that. We have a lot going on at BlerDCon, more than most conventions. And so people are always a little uptight about the stuff they had to choose versus something else that they wanted to do. And we kind of force people to have to try to be in two places at once. So there was some things about scheduling, but everybody else was just like, it was a great experience. And, even with the vaccine mandate, We really didn't see that much sheer of people not coming out. And it was just a really all around good weekend. If you saw, just talking about, the timing of how everything went, it was mid-afternoon, late afternoon, Monday, when it finally got to me that this was becoming a thing. It was like people in the contest, people in attendance at the contest, there was no beef. There was the rest of the con after. This is Saturday at 6:00. This happened, right? So not the end of the con. So all night Saturday, all day Sunday, all Sunday afternoon. Bye, thank you. Announce 2022 like we always do. God bless, good night. Pack up, nothing. Get home, and I tried to go to sleep. And I look, my phone is looking at me and saying, "Hey, you got way too many messages for this weekend." And that's when people are saying this thing is getting its own legs. We got to figure out what we got to do, get in front of it. And then trying to gather information after everybody had left the venue really slowed the response, because, nobody lives at BlerDCon. I know the illusion is that we're all kind of like right around the area and we're all like 2-3 miles away. People was on the road to New York, Philly, North Carolina, Tidewater, Virginia Beach. People wasn't even home yet. I'm talking to people who's in their car driving. What is this and what's going on? Trying to gather information. So it really was later that evening before I could really even wrap my head around, all of the drama that was ensuing. So up until 3 p.m. on Monday, BlerDCon was beautiful.
Beautiful.
So it was
beautiful experience.
So
experience.
It basically wasn't an issue until the internet got its hands on it, or as big
for the most part. Yeah, I mean, but that's how it normally works. You get, so it's like if somebody comes up in like the middle of a concert or something and you're not paying that much attention and they give you a quick rib punch. It may hurt a little, but it might take a little bit for it to set in. Like the next day, like, that motherfucker actually punched me. And then you get on home like, hey, man, I need to meet you. We got to square this up.
Yeah, or like Dave Chappelle, like, oh, goddamn, that was racist.
So it was kind of that kind of thing. It was really the internet and that really spun it out of control and kind of really just the momentum and. It got really, really, really ugly. And if you saw the tone of my first response, it was because it was in response to a lot of that stuff. And I got to put the brakes on before I even get all of the nuanced information about, who this woman is and what happened with the contest and, all of these other things that I really got to get my head around. Like people are getting their inboxes blown up and getting threatening messages, and not just the girl, but like the staff and the cosplay contest judges and, just down the line, people were just getting all kind of crazy stuff. And I was like, okay, I gotta at least pump the brakes on that long enough for us to give us bias a day to, get everybody home, sit down, talk and figure out what happened and what we're going to do, make a plan, and then make another address.
Right. Now, as a nigga that's been to the con, from Friday to Sunday, it's a lot going on. I'm pretty wiped out, but Monday I'm on your ass. Right. So now, first question I want to ask you, right, is, about this thing, right? What is the mission statement of BlerDCon?
Oh, I mean, it's on the site. This is the
I just want you to say
idea. The idea, the ethos behind BlerDCon's inception is to highlight and showcase, Black nerd achievement and contribution in cosplay, anime, gaming, music, art, et cetera, and have that be in an environment where, we are in control of the transaction, where we're not just selling Black art or we're not just showing blurred contributions, but the people on the stage talking about it are representative of the subject matters that they're talking about, getting people who are not normally on the stage or on the dais or behind the table at a panel, that opportunity to do their first panel or they do their first podcast or do their first con activity. That's really what the con is about. And all of the stuff that we do is about taking that population that we know of, that go to cons and are participating in the geek space, and then expanding that. because there's a lot of Black nerds who do not participate in the Blerd community. And these are the people that we want to have come out to their first convention. So we reach out and partner with high school programs and even some college programs. We had Bowie State come through with a group of students. We had Thurgood Marshall Academy in Southeast DC come through, just to kind of bring this next generation of 14 to 18-year-olds into a space that they may not be able to afford to come on their own, or may not get permission to come to on their own. And those are the kinds of environments that we create. The rest of it is internal commerce. This is you and you taking advantage of the space to have conversations, to have interactions, make connections on your own terms. And then we kind of stay back and just let things happen and try not to micromanage, every aspect of the con, especially since there is so much going on.
So con starts Thursday for like the VIPs or something like that, right?
Yeah, that was one of the new things that we did. We did some pre-con activities for the VIPs, had a little reception and party. We did a full day of registration for the VIPs on Thursday just for them. We had DJs and gaming and a wet bar, all that kind of stuff happening. But then for everybody else, the convention starts at noon on Friday and goes to about 3 or 4 in the afternoon on Sunday nonstop.
Right. So now Thursday goes off without a hitch. Friday, then we get to Saturday.
There were hitches on Thursday.
But there were hitches on Thursday?
There was, man.
Well, Phil, saying what happened? Anything that we can talk about that's not illegal? We'll get somebody arrested or like killed?
It's all, it's like the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain with the smoke and trying to keep everything together.
Oh, there was smoke.
Oh, man, listen, you just got to, get the DJ set up right, and the video games aren't plugged in the way they're supposed to be, and the people are lining up, and that kind of stuff. Anytime you're doing something new, man, you're just trying to keep the wheels on the cart. Come on, give me 4 hours. Let's do this for 4 hours, no hitches. And but if people don't see it, that's a mark of success. Not because nothing went wrong, but you didn't know something went wrong, and that's But there was enough.
Yeah,
this was a high maintenance convention to manage.
So be it that whatever happened Thursday, it doesn't compare to what happened to Saturday night, right? So now, were you actually at the contest when it was going on? The cosplay contest?
Yeah. No, I actually haven't seen a cosplay contest since 2018.
Damn.
Okay. I put it on my little calendar, like, okay, I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna stand in the back of the room. It's nice and dark. Nobody's gonna bother me. And you make it halfway down to, you've been to the venue. I make it down the first escalator, no problem. Second escalator, you start hearing the Hilton. Let me borrow you for a second. Hilton, let me holler at you, Hilton. And no, there's a problem. Something I gotta put out. And the contest, ironically enough, only lasted like 45 minutes, and that's what we did a wedding in between the intermission.
Oh wow!
So think about that. I did say. I think I did see that in the little rundown clip y'all did.
Yeah. We we planned a full blown wedding in the intermission between the contest
dope as shit.
and the announcement. And it was lights on to lights off was 45 minutes. By the time I got down to the second level, right before I was gonna hop down the escalator, they're like, the contest is over. Like, dang, 45 minutes was gone. Usually it's like 2 hours.
Yeah.
But, it really, really, really went fast.
Right. So that whole blow up took 45 minutes. So I guess put a stain on the BlerDCon name when it comes to a lot of people that went there, be it first timers or people that have been there since the inception of it, be it 2017 or whatever. So the cosplay contest happens. You have how many contestants? Do you know?
I think we had 19 entries.
19 entries.
19 entries out of 50 slots that we set aside.
Right.
And not even all 19 were qualified to actually, because a lot of the costumes were purchased. Some of them had not made, I think it's like you have to make 80% of it in order to compete for the main prize. We added some into the contest through a separate contest that was being done by Black Cosplay Boosters. So there was a couple more people that were able to get up on the stage and showcase their stuff. But yeah, it was a relatively small contest to begin with.
Okay. So out of those 19, the judges pick one person to win. Now, who were the judges?
Well, those were the cosplay guests.
Cosplay guests. So
every year, the cosplay guests are the judges for the cosplay contest.
Okay, so it's like when we went in 2019. It was the cosplay guests that were the judges. So it's the same thing every year. So they get up there at BlerDCon and say, "Hey, this white woman had the best cosplay. I don't know what credentials they went by. I don't know what checklists they checked, but they said this white woman had the best cosplay in this black ass convention. They didn't read the room. Pretty sure it was the sea of black people. They got up there and said that white woman won that contest. So white woman is elated from what I hear. I won. I love y'all. Fuck with y'all. I'm here. I'm here to celebrate nerd shit. Cool. She gets out of the area that the cosplay contest is taking place at. And then it's just total eruption of fuck BlerDCon. Damn, we can never have shit. I'm never supporting BlerDCon again. They'll never see another dollar of mine. First of all, how does that make you feel when people take this one incident from this cultural thing that we're trying to build from the ground up? We always complain that black people never have shit, and then when we create it, we like to tear it down as fast as we create it. How does that make you feel that people are already like throwing away BlerDCon as like, I'm not fucking with them no more?
Well, on its face, it's disappointing. I mean, as anybody who creates a convention, it's like if you go to King's Dominion and there's, 30 roller coasters or something like that at King's Dominion. There's a lot of rides there. And you get on one ride on the last day of the last hour of your visit, and you get stuck upside down in one of the loops. Now, so I understand that it's fuck King's Dominion after that.
Like facts, yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter. Oh, it was the big bad wolf that messed up. Scooby-Doo was fine. No, it's all like the whole thing is ruined for you if that happens. The ironic thing is that, it was a spectrum. There were people on every spectrum of it that were, concerned or upset or complaining. The people who were on the full out fuck BlerDCon, they never get another dollar of mine. Most of those people weren't at BlerDCon. A good chunk of those people have never been to BlerDCon and never will come to BlerDCon. So we have to delineate, the people who have legitimate concerns and are upset and, have questions versus the people who are always waiting in the wings. I think you could probably find this with any convention, but I know who mine are, who are just waiting to tear down the convention no matter what. Like, somebody could have not put enough sugar in the Kool-Aid on Sunday and they would right. There are people who just, their brand is hating BlerDCon, and you kind of take that group and you put them over here, and then you have the folks in the middle who are upset and, they're hurt. And it's enhanced because this partnership that we did with AwesomeCon was in an effort to extend the experience and extend the uplifting that we want the contest to have outside of BlerDCon. Being the number one cosplay contest winner at BlerDCon is great and wonderful. But I was looking at it as, well, how can we make this an opportunity for this person as a cosplayer in general? So what can we do beyond, the dollars and the trophy and all that? So one, the winner of the contest was going to be one of the judges and the, on the guest list as a cosplayer for BlerDCon 2022. Then there was the guest slot at AwesomeCon, and AwesomeCon has an issue where they really want, to have blurred representation, and this serves, their diversity needs as well. And we're really happy to be a part of that mission for them as well. So it's just, it hits on like 3-4 levels. Whereas, in previous years, the person would have got their $50 or whatever the prize money is, their little trophy, and they would have walked off stage and you never would have heard from them again. But now you got this person representing BlerDCon theoretically at, this larger convention, and in DC, AwesomeCon is the largest convention in DC, nerd convention. Like 80,000 people come to that.
Right.
So this opportunity is supposed to represent the uplift of Black cosplay even beyond the contest. So it added so much insult to injury for everybody that I understand why it caught fire. I understand why it got legs, even though some of it was irresponsible, but that's just a quadrant that it's over here like we were talking about before. So what you have to do is you have to explain to people, you know, because most people don't know how cosplay contests go. You know, even people who weren't there, you know, have legitimate questions and concerns. You know, they may think, oh, Hilton walked a white woman up onto the stage and said, here, give this white woman a shot at representing Black nerddom, judges. And the judge is like, I don't know, Hilton. This is a Black, you know, room, and it's a Black con. Are you sure? I'm sure. Write it down. She's your queen to be. You know, all of that. You know, so there's people who don't know if that's how it goes because they don't know how cosplay contests work. I was like, I wasn't even there. I didn't even know a white woman had won until Monday. You know, it was not this thing that
until Monday.
Engineered. Yeah.
So listen, wait. So you're telling me it's that this happened Saturday evening, Sunday goes on, you don't hear shit. I'm guessing you're ripping and running on Sunday. You don't have really much time to check your phone. I'm guessing. I don't know. So then Monday,
nothing came to me.
Nothing. Okay, so nothing came to you that night at all.
No
DMs, not a face-to-face. Where the fuck is Hilton at? I need to talk to him right now. He ain't in the barbershop, space table, nothing. Ain't nobody see you say nothing.
Nothing. Listen, I'm telling you, if you want to talk about another layer of disappointment, is that I don't know however many people, 150, I don't know how many people who decided to get online and you know, at my judges or at my staff or at this woman that won, but nobody messaged me. And that's just how it works. You know, nobody likes to really come directly to me for stuff. I mean, even if it's to say, fuck you, you know, nobody really wants to, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I you know, people have told me different things and, you know, like, oh, you know, people are intimidated. I'm like, no,
why? I'm
always smiling and I'm goofy. There's really not anything to be intimidated about, you know, with me. I don't have a magic wand, you know, whatever. So no, nobody's messaging me like, what the hell, Hilton, and why this Hilton and da-da-da until Monday when the internet got a hold of it and it reached this noise level, this fever pitch. Now, Monday, I had a lot of people. Now, these are people that are close to me, like people who know me, who are like, hey, I don't know if you are hearing what's happening over on TikTok, or I don't know if you've logged in and did a search for the hashtag BlerDCon on, you know, Twitter or YouTube, but this is really blowing up and da-da-da, and you need to get ahead of this, da-da-da. So even then, it's just the people in my circle, you know, of friends and colleagues who are reaching because they're hearing it. But there isn't anybody like, you know, DMing me saying, you know, we want answers and all this sort of stuff. And like I said, it wasn't until Monday where it was like, wait a minute, like, all right, everybody, you know, whoever I can get on the phone, fill me in. What happened? Give me the blow by blow. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm Saturday, you know, I got a concert to do. Got to make sure the party comes off. You know, I mean, there's so many things that are trying to take the wheels off the structure of the cart that I'm really focusing on this stuff. But like during the convention, nobody was really talking about it during. I mean, if they were, it might have been off in their rooms, but it wasn't like groups of people making noise and shaking their fist or following me around. Or at the con, the people at the con had a great experience. It's the acid indigestion that kicked in on Monday for the 3-day tacos that they ate that really was when it kicked in. I know it sounds crazy, but there's really
that's funny.
Really how it went down.
Now, I guess Monday when the shit hit the fan, right? I saw little sprinklings of like, you know, rundowns of what happened at BlerDCon, but I didn't know what the fuck they was talking about till maybe like Wednesday or Thursday. I wasn't just paying attention to what happened at BlerDCon because I wasn't there. But even still, I just wanted to know what the fuck was going on. So when I started seeing like, you know, hashtag CoonCon, like hashtag like kinda BlerDCon, like I was seeing all types of wild shit. But then it was like, you know, I guess the vitriol and like the anger was just all about this white woman winning the cosplay. Like, do you actually understand why people are upset, or do you just be like, hey, this was always an all-inclusive event and she had the best cosplay? Like, a white woman won a cosplay competition at a convention specifically catered to Black nerds. And, that was always in the mission statement, like, all-inclusive, everyone's, when I was there in 2019, I saw gay, straight, Asian, white, Latin, non-binary, whoever. I saw whoever there. Everybody enjoying their nerdy ass time. But as soon as a white woman win the cosplay competition at BlerDCon, everybody just seems to fucking lose it. Like, do you understand why people are mad though, or do you just be like,
oh, absolutely, absolutely? Okay. And so, that's kind of where I started off at, is trying to fundamentally understand, where the spectrum starts and stops. Concern to anger to outrage, and what people are outraged about. And, again, just like I said, it was layers. On its face, it's just, it's like jumbo shrimp. It's like these two words that are just antithetical to one another, existing in one situation. And it was a series of decisions that just, as I'm learning now, it probably took me about a week and a half to really get the full picture, that she had a Black group of friends that she was there with.
Yeah.
And they pushed her to go into the contest. Yeah, you got dope cosplay, and, you're plus size and or whatever. And, she's like, oh,
if she won a spades tournament, I can get it. I get that. The cosplay, I'm like, all right, dog, maybe y'all just wasn't up to par.
Right, and I think there was a series. She
go on Boston on niggas in their space. Like, yo, what is this? Who gave her the cheat code? Like, what part of DC is she from? She from that black part of DC, ain't she?
Right. But I think with the cosplay piece, it was more about, there was hurt because people are looking at it in the big picture. Like I said, it's digesting this, and then it comes back up when it really hits. What does this mean? Oh, you're telling me a white woman is going to be representing BlerDCon and Black nerd cosplay at AwesomeCon and as a guest next year at BlerDCon, and all that sort of stuff. And I totally understand. And what I tried to kind of let people know is that in the lane between blame and responsibility, I'm responsible because I put the structure of the contest together, and there's no speed bumps on there for anybody of any race, to be highlighted and be elevated to that position. And while legally, there's a whole quadrant of people in this argument that are thinking, why do white people have to be there at all, and why do Black folks stuff have to be inclusive, and all cons are inclusive. The blackest con that you think is blacker than BlerDCon, and I guarantee you, they got white people to go there too. Some of them have white guests. They're all inclusive. But when you have something as high profile as a cosplay contest winner at a con the size of BlerDCon, those things go to another level. I mean, white people have always been at BlerDCon. It's just like you said, 2019, you saw a mix of people, but they were participating. They weren't the show. And the cosplay contest is the only place at BlerDCon where structurally someone who's just participating, who's just there observing, could elevate themselves to the forefront of the convention. And that happened. And so I had to come up with, and this took a couple of days because, you got, okay, what can we legally do? And, we're wrangling with, before she relinquished her prize, like, okay, how do we go about, altering the situation with her in the winner's chair, right? What do we do? Because obviously we can't have the BlerDCon representative be
fucking white,
like
Anglo-Saxon, like Caucasian white.
So I'm planning ways to work around that. But she had already relinquished the prize. I think she realized, it dawned on her that, like, oh shit, like, okay, I really misread this room. I misread my place as an attendee and what the con was about and opportunities that I might have taken away from other really great Black cosplayers who were in the contest. And, this is how we learn. Like sometimes
that's
you gotta
bullshit.
If she had the
it's-
best costume, if she had the best costume, like why? This is a conversation that we were having whenever we the news dropped, and I don't have the answer for it, but like if she had the best costume, I don't understand. I like now going forward with the representing stuff that I get, but in general, just her winning the contest, I don't understand if she had the best costume. If she didn't have the best costume, that's a different conversation to have at a different time. But if she just had the best costume, you can't be mad at her for wanting to participate in something. She spent her money to go to visit this convention to do this stuff, and she wanted to participate, and then she happened to win. Like I don't get.
You're not alone. There was a whole quadrant of the spectrum that was there, and almost to the letter what you just said. They had that same position. And had a lot of, real valid thoughts around, what does it mean to have a cosplay contest, that excludes, cosplayers of any quality or skill level, yada,
It's
yada.
It's a cosplay contest at BlerDCon. It is not a Black cosplay contest.
Right. But this year, I think is different because the winner, that prize pack, what that represented was so much more above and beyond what we had ever done before, or any con ever. I don't know of any conventions that partner with another con to say, not only are you going to win here, but we're going to make sure that you get your first show over there. You're going to get 2 guest slots, to launch your cosplay career from this win, from this stage. And this
that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy now I'm thinking about it.
That does change.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, so I was excited by the idea, and the cosplayer who was elevated to the winning slot, Kiwi Ninamori, she's at this moment, she's at PucciCon. She got called by PucciCon before she even got to AwesomeCon. So she's doing a cosplay, guest slot up in New Jersey. So it's working. What my idea worked. So I'm happy for that because I think this is a formula that I can replicate in other areas, and find ways to take dope Black cosplayers and dope Black creators and dope blurred musicians and comedians and anyone who's there participating in some way, and find ways to extend the reach of the stage of BlerDCon to encompass other nerd spaces that are not necessarily nerd specific. And I think that's the key. That is the part that I think probably added that critical amount of fuel to the fire that made people really see this as an impact because of that. Now, on me, what I failed to do was to consider that this could happen, and that this could happen in such a way that, we would be faced with having somebody who's not representing the blurred community representing the blurred community,
right.
Whatever. And
that's a wild ass thing to put on a resume as a white person.
But it's like this. Someone said to me, like, oh, NAACP is giving awards to white people for, but those are like special lifetime achievement awards or, some side award or something like that. They're not winning, Black Image Award for Justin Timberlake or something like that. You know what I mean? It's
if Soul Train had a Justin Timberlake award, lifetime achievement award or some shit.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. So what we had to do was come up with a way in which that prize, that number one prize, even in an inclusive environment, an inclusive con where people can participate just as anyone else would, in any way that anyone would in the con, regardless of their race or gender or orientation, yada, 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 is to make that prize qualify to, a Black nerd. And I said, well, you know what? I can't make a contest within a ticketed event that only allows for Black people to participate. That's a lawsuit that, nobody's going to give me 10 cents for my legal defense fund for it. So I'm not even going that way. I said, but this number one prize is going to be the Black Cosplayer of the Year award, right? So the judges, to their defense, and I really tried to drive this home, but it's so complicated that I never really get to it. There was nothing for the judges. There's no mechanism for them to steer the ship away from the white woman or anyone else who's participating in the con. Everyone's getting these worksheets, and they're all sitting at different stations, and people come up and they stand in 10 feet away, and they can approach and everything, and they're writing numbers. Hey, 1 through 10, how was the craftsmanship? 10. How was the presentation? 8. Blah blah blah. They're not sharing this information. They're writing down what is given to them.
They do the fucking paper bag test and be like, she can't win because she's
right. There's nowhere on this. It's like SAT bubble test. It's like it's a sheet. So there's really, they have no sense of like, they're not coming together with this meeting where we're like, okay, what do you think of so and so? Da 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 da.
Yeah.
No, it's like these sheets are collected because we want it to be objective. And we want it to be sterile. This is another reason why I don't go backstage. I don't go anywhere near the contest. Because there's people just waiting to say the fix is in, and even on when we have the fight. If it's not black and white, in 2019 it was armor versus sewing. In 2017 it was I think Hilton knew the girl who won, or she works for BlerDCon or something like that. And I said, man, listen, there's money involved with this prize. And there's a lot of work and a lot of personalities in the cosplay community. I'm going to keep myself as far away from that process as possible. So it never really dawned on me that, man, somebody could just come up in here and win regardless of the ethos of the contest or the ethos of the prize pack or the ethos of the con. And there's no speed bumps. There's no breaks. There's no potholes once somebody enters to how far they can go. So this new structure is going to allow for anybody still can enter if they want. We're going to probably do some different things with, the qualifications for, how much of your cosplay did you make versus buy or assemble, that sort of thing. But this Cosplayer of the Year, Black Cosplayer of the Year award is going to be more like a Mr. or Miss America thing, because this person is not just going to be the best among the best cosplayers at the con. They're also going to be representing BlerDCon at another convention, at least one other convention. They're going to be representing BlerDCon as a guest the following year. And everybody might not be down for that, so we can't just use a check sheet, because there's some cosplayers out there that are huge talents.
Crazy.
Who that shy to a fault, won't speak in a room with more than 3 people. Like, and now I'm gonna put you on a stage. I'm gonna put you on 4 stages. I'm gonna send you to New Jersey. I'm gonna send you to.
They ain't with none of that shit.
They don't want it. No. So if somebody is not interested in that, they'll have the opportunity during the Q&A, which is a new thing that'll be added. Somebody is going to ask questions. Hey, what do you think about the state of Black cosplay? How do you?
Please let me do it. Can I do it? Please, can I do it?
Oh God, no.
Please, yo. I promise I won't be an asshole.
I might as well light BlerDCon on fire now. Just let it burn. This is fine. This is fine, right?
I thought I had a job.
But no joke. All joking aside. But those are the kind of solutions and remedies that we would normally do in problem solving. But I think that there are people, and I mean, you guys are out in the world, so there's people that that say BlerDCon at least once a day, and in a negative sense, and they wake up every day in a cold sweat screaming BlerDCon, and they waiting for BlerDCon to trip so they can they can make hay of it, and those people are always going to be there. And I think this gave them an opportunity to blow a lot of air to feed this fire beyond the people who attend. Because I actually, a week after, once I had time to actually comb through some of these, YouTube videos and stuff. And I looked and I was like, okay, this person's saying something crazy, CoonCon, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't see you attending. I'm going to your profile. You're not attending no cons. You're not a cosplayer. You ain't got no blurred credentials anywhere in your profile. I don't know you. We don't have any mutual friends. And I'm just like, okay, it's not a loss if you tell me I'm not getting no more of your money, and I've never gotten none of your money and never was going to get none of your money. I mean, some people just want to say something and they said what they said and they move on. But the people I'm really focused on are the people who attended the convention, the people who are, making balanced even in their outrage, like, yo, I have a real question on how we're going to fix this going forward. Hilton, talk to me. Those are the folks that I'm really able to assuage and are willing to listen to solutions, whereas others, not so much.
Right. Now, I saw this on Twitter as well. I don't know if it's true, but I got to ask you. I heard somebody say that in all the years of BlerDCon, there's been one black cosplay winner. Is that true?
No. Year one was black and Korean, but she was darker than me, so I didn't even know she was half Asian. But then 2019, we had what's the princess and the frogs princess name?
Tiana.
She had the green. Yeah, she won. But yeah, you're right. This is not the first time a white person has won the cosplay contest. 2018, we had a blind cosplayer who sewed her own dress. Right now, this again, I didn't see. Like I said, I didn't see this, but I saw the pictures, and the controversy was, people were kind of like, but it didn't go nowhere. And I kind of looked at it as kind of like a freak accident. Like, okay, okay, well, they got the prize. There's not too much of a dust up about it. Apparently there was wide consensus that this person had the best cosplay, enough to the point where it maybe trumped this person. I don't know. It never got to the point where we really had to examine it. But I did look at it as okay, this was a freak accident. It's like a car accident in front of your house. Like, that's not because of the pothole up the street, losing control. This is just Jesus deciding that there's going to be a car wreck in front of my house this year, and boom. And, if I could do it over again, I'm real big on responsibility, even for things that I'm not necessarily directly to blame for. If I could do it over again, I would have probably done something similar to what we just did for what's going to be 2022 back in 2018. But since we come out in 2019 and, the whole top 5 was black in 2019. And I was like, oh, okay, it was a freak accident. Look at that. This is a nice, pantheon of winners on stage, and little controversy of armor versus sewing, which is always going to be there. Right. But other than that, it was gone. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's not as much of a problem as I thought it would be. Turned out I was wrong.
Right. Now, have you personally talked to the cosplay winner?
The woman who won?
The woman that won.
I never got the chance. Listen, I made my first statement on Monday, and it sounds like y'all saw it. This was Monday night. And I was probably working off of 4 or 5 hours sleep for the whole 3-4 day weekend.
Right.
My throat was just dry. And I was like, I just gotta put the brakes on the harassment, just so that we can bring the temperature down enough for us to take a day to address the situation in another post. So I took that opportunity, expecting to be able to have a conversation with this person maybe the next day or something, to say, okay, what do we do here? That kind of stuff. Tuesday, she relinquished the prize and then shut all her social media off. So I didn't have a. She
did a Macklemore?
Oh yeah, she shut everything. She's gone. She's gone off of the internet.
Yeah,
Screenshots.
I mean, she's still on Twitter, but
I'm not even. Well, I mean, when I say off, I don't know that you can just delete a profile like that. But she's not on.
Not active
social media.
Yeah, she's not
active. You can't message,
yeah.
Right? And because it got really ugly and it got really rough for a minute there, and I didn't get a chance to come around and have any kind of direct conversation with her before she relinquished the position.
Okay. Where do I want to go next with this? Why was there so much smoke for BlerDCon as a whole and not just the judges? Because the judges were invited there by, I guess, like a collective of the BlerDCon staff, and they don't represent BlerDCon per se, right? They, they're judges, they're, outsourced, they have their own opinions or whatever the case. They chose the winner. So why was it BlerDCon as a whole took a hit and not just the judges, you feel?
Well, I mean, I think there was, for some people, again, they don't know that the judges don't work for BlerDCon. Like I've seen so many people post, y'all need to get new judges next year. And I was like, well, they don't work for us. Like,
Same judges, it's different judges every year.
Right. And, I could sit back and take for granted that everybody knows how cons work, but apparently that's not the case. So that might be part of it. That people are thinking that these are folks from inside the circle that, we have this long relationship with, but cosplayers are under the aegis of the con for the weekend of the convention. And then that's it. So when people are saying, oh, so-and-so cosplay judge said something I didn't like, what do you have to say about that? And I'm like, they said that on Tuesday. This person's contract ended on Sunday, the 19th at 5:00. Nothing to do with their life after they leave the con space and everything. And so they can say what they want to say. I can agree or disagree or, whatever. But everyone who I read their statements were quick to preface to say, I'm not representing BlerDCon. I'm not speaking for anybody but myself. And as inartful as some of those statements were, they were in response to like this constant badgering, and our PR operation didn't get a chance to even, before things really, really were just turning left and turning right. Normally, if something really crazy happens or potentially crazy happens, we'll have a moment or a window to say to the department involved, don't answer any questions. We're going to come out with a statement from the con. And that will be, the official statement, and it'll answer all the questions. But we don't want you talking to people or responding to tweets and all that. These folks are hitting these guys up directly. And again, they're not part of the staff. They're not part of the department. So, if Dax gets a tweet that's mean and somebody's saying something and, Dax is like, nah, and wants to clap back, that I'm not in a position to call Dax and go, hey, private citizen, I need you
do that thing.
I need you to eat a little more shit on our behalf. A couple days. Like, no,
not gonna pay you, but
right, exactly. It's like you off the clock, but so yeah, I think there's a like I was saying before, there are people who wake up every morning and say BlerDCon before they brush their teeth, just so that BlerDCon can come across their mouth when their breath is the worst it's going to be. Just that's how much they hate Blur. There are people who hate BlerDCon since 2016.
They be saying in the mirror like Candyman.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like they really, really, really have it in for us.
Car captain.
But they don't really have the
Hilton.
They don't necessarily. Listen, if I said names and anybody here would know them, you go, oh damn, he is so right. Like it's that crazy. And again, these are folks. A lot of these folks, like there's one I haven't talked to since I haven't exchanged any words with since 2016. And this person's writing the same article. Every time something a cosplayer. I'm not even joking. A cosplayer got their cosplay caught in the door in an elevator at BlerDCon. I think it might have been 2018, 2019. This person got on there and tried to spin it like, see, this is why I try to tell you that BlerDCon ain't for black people.
They try to lynch him.
The
elevators is racist.
Right? Like I'm like, how'd I get in the elevator with the brother's cosplay? Like, why is
elevators tried to trap me.
Your mind.
Think, so yeah, this represented for that group of people an opportunity to try and do as much damage to the convention as they can. And these folks are the ones that, if you look at, they'll make more than one post, and their analysis is not fair. They're making, very sweeping judgments about the con in general. Anyone who says that the 45 minutes of that contest represents the entire experience of the 57 hours of BlerDCon.
That's what I'm talking about.
Somebody who's usually in that boat way over here on the right. That's like, okay, I'm going to see how I can, just really, really just rile this whole thing up. And they're always there, and they always will be. Listen, black people aren't 100% on nothing.
Right.
You can't find anything that 100% of black people, not grits, not flour, seasoned salt, nothing. You think it's 100%, but if you post, if you get into a position of influence or volume or voice or elevation, and you say, "Man, I love grits," there's gonna be 5 people that's gonna
put sugar.
Like
I saw a horror story on grits the other day. I saw somebody put flour in their grits. And I almost died.
That's cornmeal, ain't it?
No.
That disturbed me because I had grits this morning, and just the idea of flour, that's a whole
flour.
I cried. But I'm just saying that those people exist for BlerDCon, and we're doing. I always knew that was going to be the case. You know, when we incepted BlerDCon and we put it together, everybody was waiting for this army of white people or Asian people or whatever to come and try and mow us down. And I was like, nah. Probably the biggest and most vocal criticism of BlerDCon is going to come from people that look like us, because we're doing
how it is all the time.
A lot of things that are so different. And if we achieve any success, I mean, listen, I'm not bragging on BlerDCon, but this is just a objective fact. BlerDCon has had the kind of explosive success that is rare amongst conventions. And if we were flying under the radar, year 4, we were under 1,000 people and it was a small con, nobody would care what we were doing. But when you start off at 2,000 people and 2019 is like 6,500 people, and we're on track for like 8,000 people next year, I mean, that's not normal for most conventions, and people feel a certain way about that. That's just how human nature is. And they saw this opportunity like, oh man, let me write this think piece. Hold up. People are going to care what I have to say. I'm going to make sure they retweet it and they're going to resend it. It's the same 3 articles. They ain't but 3 articles on this. They're all it's just, they're getting posted and reshared by the same people. And I'm just like, there's like 40 articles, Hilton. What are we going to do? Like, no, it's 3. They're all the same. It's 3 articles.
It's the same 3 being retweeted.
Yeah, they done created the Legion of Doom against you. Goddamn. Like,
listen, man.
The Akatsuki, goddammit.
What we're doing is controversial. There are people who really, really, really do not like the fact that there are non-Black people in any way associated with the con, in attendance, in the building, sitting behind the engineering booth behind the stage. They don't, nothing. They just cannot stand that. That will be the forever point that they will always hate us for. There are folks that, don't like the way I brought BlerDCon up. I am the first to say I didn't kiss any rings on my way into doing BlerDCon. There are a lot of established conventions out there that feel like, well, nigga didn't talk to me. And there's some indignation to that, for some people. And I understand it, but again, there are folks who are outside of the bubble, like you guys, objective people who, they're just like, damn, this is making a lot of noise. What in the hell is going on? We missed 1 year.
We missed one fucking year.
Hilton burned down Crystal City. We did not cover it. This is a missed opportunity.
It's bullshit.
Just woke up one day, the world was on fire.
One day the world's on fire. This was the day. And so yeah, for most people, once they saw the plan to move forward and it made sense to them, they're like, okay, we're gonna see what happens next year, and we're gonna see what 2022 is, starts to get mapped out to be. But then there's others who, no matter what you say, they're not listening. They are not paying any attention to, I have a question, and then you answer the question. And I have that same question again, just to ask it so people think it's still an issue. But the question is,
right.
And you're like, okay, this person's not really trying to hear the solution.
Well, fuck them. We don't need them.
Yeah.
So now, before I ask you about 2022 and your plans for that, what I want to know is, after the blow up, what was that first staff meeting like? Like, did y'all come on Zoom, or did y'all, go into a conference room? It's like, hey, we kind of fucked up. Like, what happened? What was the energy in that room?
Well, again, we have just because the structure of conventions is the way it is, we have silos. So programming is not aware of any of the stuff that's going on with cosplay and guests in the cosplay contest. Okay. They're sitting up on the third floor in a back room, making sure the panels go and, everybody's projectors are working and everybody's on schedule and people are reporting no-shows, updating the site, yada, yada, yada. I got people in registration. They spend the whole con sitting behind a table. You have your ID, please, da, 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 da. They don't know what's going on. So we didn't have to necessarily have like this big come to Jesus meeting so much as just for me to come forward and say, okay, this is where we are. And we're going to craft 3 sets of statements that are going to go out. We didn't do much crafting with the first one, but the second one, and then
was the first one yours that you deleted? That one?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
Yes. That was me. Because people were like, the messages
I gotta say something.
Right. Well, yeah. People were like, you can't hide from this, Hilton. You hide from the issue. You can't hide from this. You got
no, I'm not, nigga. I don't know what to say to y'all.
And I'm like, I don't even know what happened. All I know is Black woman won and everybody's mad and I got da. And so that one, I was like, look, I just got to stop the harassment. That's my responsibility at the very moment. That's the only thing I'm really going to focus on as far as that. And then the second one, we can kind of, once we get more information. So we really didn't put the rest of the team in any position where they had to make any statement, because nobody's asking registration what happened at the cosplay contest. Nobody's asking the stage manager for the outside concert or the coordinator for the food truck rally, about it. They're talking to the cosplay judges, 1 or 2 people they think are associated with it, and ostensibly me. I mean, of course, nobody's messaging me directly from the mob, but the people in my circle are. And so, yeah, we had that meeting and we was like, okay, we have to figure out a way to do this. Like, how do we address legitimate concerns about representation and uplift and, the ethos of the convention while still staying within, what the legal confines are for, exclusion from public events, So we had to kind of, figure this out so that the idea that I was so excited about, this ability to take the BlerDCon cosplay winner and elevate them even above and beyond our stage and put them on at least 2 other stages, which will probably end up by the time we get to next year, our cosplay winners probably end up on about 5 stages by the time the end of the year comes around. So it's a really, really good thing. How do we do that and make sure that it's meeting its purpose? Because this isn't about elevating BlerDCon. This is about elevating the community. This is about elevating, the hard work and talent in the Blerd community in this particular lane. It's cosplay, right? So how do we do that? And so we talk with some people, like my business partner, Haas, he's got a JD. So, he knows a little bit about law and how to look things up. And that's what we came up with what I put forward to you guys just a little while ago. But I mean, we knew that the community has a news cycle, and a lot of people I knew as like at some point they're going to overplay their hand and people will go, oh, okay, all right, over there. I'm mad too, but you're owing some other stuff. That's you way out of bounds. Like, we're not even talking about that. We just want to know what we're going to do to make sure this represents us and in the way that the founding is supposed to mean. And and inevitably, a lot of the real haters overplayed their hand, and there's people, there's some posts up now talking about, why are y'all still, Hilton was on, you saw me on Head Nerds in Charge. I was on the 3 hours answering.
That's why I didn't ask half the questions I wanted to ask, because like they already covered it, so I ain't gonna rehash it.
I love Curtis for what he did, but I told him, I said, here's why I need you, and this is why I'm reaching out to you first. He said, why? I said, because you're messy and you're loud. and I need you to use your messiness and loudness and, your irreverence to create a neutral platform, where, if I'm wrong or if I'm saying something that's, off key or if there's something that I'm trying to hide, you'll
create some ripples, nigga.
Yeah, you know, make
we can get this
waves.
message out here, so I ain't gotta go on all these fucking platforms and answer the same question 8 times. All right? Three ninjas might be where it stops.
I don't even want to see the questions. Like, as many questions as you get from submitted, and he said he got like 200 of them, but there was a lot of repeats.
Yeah.
As many questions as you get submitted, I will stay on air to answer until you run out. And that was my thing. Right. That's all I need to know. Just tell me when to log in and when we're going to start. And that, you know, as he hit me with them, I mean, yeah, I've heard them before from other places, but I didn't know that he was going to ask.
I was scared for you.
Yeah.
I was never nervous because I'm coming from an honest place, you know, and
anytime I see black women, I get nervous, man. I saw it because I saw the video and I saw 3 black women. I said, "Oh shit!" About to give it to this. I said,
and to a certain extent, they did. To a certain extent, they absolutely did. And you know, the thing is that you have to ask yourself the question: if you are one of the people who was really, really upset, and if you're not now, you know, that it might be the answer to the question, but you know, it's like, what is it that you want? You know, do you just want to see somebody get dragged because that's, you know, that's just in you know, the next sequence of events, you know, from Real Housewives, from BlerDCon.com or whatever. I don't know. If you want that, you know, you're probably never going to be satisfied because, you know, we're not dealing with a situation that was part of any chicanery or, you know, where's the money or anything like that. This is just a really awkward situation that happened that I, as a con runner, am responsible for dealing with in the moment and preventing in the future. And the anger and the discomfort and the concern that comes in the moment is reflexive and it's natural. But, you know, when you start looking at solutions, you know, you have to allow for that. And if you're still mad after you see the solutions, like, you have to ask the question, like, okay, why are you here? Like, is there any answer that would make you happy? And if the answer is no, then I won't burden you with any more of my voice. But, you know,
it's just a hiccup. Like, you know, now that I think about it, if we were a little bigger, that thing we did with the speed dating, that shit would have got hate. You remember that? Like, we didn't do the LGBTQ. No, we didn't consider it.
We got hate off rip because we didn't include, because we didn't say it was like all inclusive. We didn't include like non-binary people, the LGBTQIA plus community. Like, we didn't put that on the sheet. We just said, hey, speed dating. We just thought all straight people was gonna come. But, you know, little did I know that every type of motherfucker was like, yo, we was waiting for this shit. We saw this shit on the program. We was waiting for it. I was like, I didn't know this many motherfuckers were gonna come. We have to turn people away at the door. We was like, yo, this is our first time doing this. I don't know shit. I don't know what to do with my hands, Ricky Bobby. I don't know nothing. So hopefully if we do it in 2022, we get like the big fucking room and then we get to actually, like, you know, have everybody in there that wants to be in there, and then we get the inclusion that we want, or do more than one speed dating panel. I don't know. We'll talk to you. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Figure it out. So always do.
Now, speaking of 2022, right? The hallway cosplay contest pageant that you I guess you announced. I don't know if it was a preemptive announcement or you already had that plan to announce, but you announced that on a video, I think at the end of July, I want to say. And was that always a plan to have that, or did you feel the pressure from this thing and be like, hey, I got to do something?
Well, it's a little bit of both, because you have a challenge on both ends of the challenge. Like I was saying, you know, we looked at the con and said, okay, how many people can we comfortably accommodate in a cosplay contest? And the magic number that we get for registration is 50 for prejudging and, you know, people walking across the stage and all that. I mean, cosplay contests, I did a Wizard World cosplay contest when I was cosplaying, and it was 6 hours. Now this contest didn't last, the audience didn't see 6 hours, but if you wanted to enter and you had to participate, it went from like 4:30 in the afternoon to 8 o'clock at night, just in line, queuing up, getting judged, walk in, you know, no food, nowhere to sit. And so we are sensitive to the fact that people want to attend a convention, and we want this to, the contest to exist within this 2-hour block that we have set aside. Now, this year, like I said, we only had 19 entries.
Right.
So, how do you spread or expand the footprint of the competition to invite people into the process who don't want to spend, it might be about 2.5 hours of their Saturday participating in the contest? Because, one of the things that you always hear, and it's funny because I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. They're like, oh man, I was walking around, I saw 20 cosplays that was better than so-and-so such. Now I get this every year. It's not unique to this year. They're like, but
I saw that cosplay get on stage.
Too. Exactly. I was like, I saw that cosplay too. I walked up to that individual. I told that individual, you got a dope cosplay. You should enter the contest. And they were like, eh. And then they went about their day.
Oh, they was never in it?
Force people. Huh?
They was never in it?
No, they're just talking about people walking around the con.
Okay.
Like, when they see a winner,
there's people that walk around with dope ass cosplays, but they don't want to get on stage and want to enter the contest. They just be chilling.
And I understand that. And how do we showcase dope cosplay, even if they don't want to enter the formal contest? Because I think that we can still serve the mission of elevating and highlighting the dopest cosplays that we see on a Saturday, which is the day of the contest, even without having these people going through the full prejudging and all this stuff to win maybe a formal set of prizes. So what I said we was going to do is say, hey, we're going to have a hallway cosplay contest. And we might give 10 people 10 armbands apiece. And you say, all right, you're going to walk around. If you're in a place that's pivotal, you might even be a vendor. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like if you see somebody in a dope cosplay, you are authorized to take these armbands, walk up to that person in the middle of the hall and be like, look, here, I want to give you this. You can go walk the stage. You don't have to do any prejudging. You don't have to have your cosplay taken apart. You don't have to have created or built or sewn 80% of it. Doesn't matter if you bought it. Doesn't matter if it's your cousin's and you're just wearing it. Doesn't matter whatever. It's a dope cosplay and we want to see it on stage. Well, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to be in the video most likely. There's going to be a photography aspect of it. So we have these opportunities to elevate what we see and what the cosplay, quotient is at BlerDCon. And then we'll have some prizes that might go a combination of crowd participation or, maybe even the judges doing on site saying, okay, boom, we like the way you embodied that character. Maybe you did good voice characterization and body movement just as you walk the stage. Maybe that'll be something. And we just, give you something, your little token of your accomplishment. And, you get the little picture, boom, and that's it. Took 30 minutes of your day to do it. So that's really what we wanted to do. Unfortunately, there is no method as it stands right now to just goad some of the best Black cosplayers that we all know to get on that stage and showcase their skill and their talent in a formal contest. And this is a way to do it. It's low maintenance. It's not that much work. It doesn't have a heavy load on the actual structure of the contest. And at the end of the day, there will be more blurred contestants or blurred cosplayers on the stage as a show. Because as an audience, when I go to a cosplay contest, I'm there to see dope cosplay, right? People I might not have seen in the hall or, I might have missed because I was in a panel, but, boom. Oh, yeah, you was telling me about that Iron Man, or you was telling me about that Deadpool or that Inuyasha or whatever. Oh, there it is. Take a picture. Boom, boom, boom. We want to have that at least both for the audience and for the cosplayers. So we're going to see how it runs this next year.
Right. Hilton, I mean, this kind of goes without asking, but you've seen Chappelle's show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What you just explained to me sounds like, I think it was in the first season when Dave Chappelle, he went around New York and said, hey, you had a great New York boobs. He was just giving them ribbons and shit, but you just added a stage.
Yeah, actually, that's literally what it is.
Hey, you have a great cosplay. There you go.
Well, I'm not reinventing the wheel. This is actually this is how a lot of contests work. You may not have known me from my heavy cosplay days, but I was known for my Deadpool back in the day. And I am not a crafter. I'm not a sewer. I'm not a, molder. I'm a hack. I put together stuff and what I think is creative cosplay. But if you ask me how much of it that I actually make, like, I painted that, and I, did this, but I didn't make it, wired that in, put the speakers in so you can hear my voice. And I went to MomoCon and entered the contest. And, they asked me, said, well, we got a category. Do you want this? You just want to get up there and walk the stage and show your personality and your performance? Well, there's a prize for that. And, so they did the prejudging. I walked up on stage. They gave me this little bag. It was really cool. And I got my little chance to wave and take a picture with the cosplay judges and sat my butt down. And I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. And it was just that simple. And it didn't take too much of my life away. And I got a chance to, kind of get up there and say something crazy. And that was it. So I think there's a way to make that work at BlerDCon so that we do get more highlights of the cosplay. And yes, it will be very much like handing up ribbons. Nice New York boobs. There you go.
Nice New York boobs.
That'll be kind of cool to have a cosplay to where you're having it to like best performance. Like if they dressed up in a cosplay and they acted out on stage for like a good like minute or 30 seconds or something like that, just to see how it is. You just have different categories like best performance, best style, the look, and things like that.
Right. And these prizes don't have a whole lot of responsibility behind them. They may not be monetary. They may be contributed into a bag or a set of bags by the vendors. And then they get, prize sponsor consideration, in the program or something like that. But it's just a way of acknowledging it. It's, like I said, it's low maintenance. And again, there are a lot of people who, maybe they're not crafters and they're not sewers, but, some of my favorite cosplayers are people who bought their cosplays, but they perform the hell out of that character, like my man, Eric the Smoke Moran. He does an amazing Skeletor.
Yeah.
He didn't make the cosplay, but he's got that voice and that
He-Man. That shit.
Right. I'm looking at this 350-pound ex-Marine, former pro wrestler. He puts his helmet on and he's sounding just like it. And I'm like, that voice is coming out of your head, but wow, like you really are Skeletor. But the way a formal cosplay contest works now, he might not win on that alone. But if we did like a hallway cosplay contest, like somebody could walk up and go, boom, we need you to get up there and show that voice and show that performance and, get some acknowledgement for it. So
I think it would be cool to, because they have lightsaber duels sometimes. And they have them as cosplay. Sometimes I go to the cosplay and I see people dressed up as certain characters.
Giving this nigga
Stop, man! I gotta say it. Gotta say it.
Like if you do that shit, and niggas heard on this show, I want to hear shit.
What, the duel awards? It'll be a duel awards. It'll be like Batman versus fucking Black Panther.
Do all this shit.
And
they do shit with like DJs and music,
choreography and shit like that.
If you have a choreography like fucking performance or some shit. Hey, yo, do it. Well, I checked, man. Come on, man.
Look, he already setting the predicate for the 2022 scandal. That lightsaber duel with the DJs.
You know what?
That was all.
I love BlerDCon so much that I wouldn't even ask y'all for a check. I just want to be a part of the fucking festivities and shit. But I've seen that too many times where niggas will steal somebody's idea because they like gave like a fucking skeleton of an idea. And they were like, never thought of that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to flesh this motherfucking skeleton and I'm going to just do it act like I thought of it.
Well, see, that's why I don't talk to people. Listen, I kept BlerDCon under wraps for 2 years. From the first day I said BlerDCon,
I got mad ideas. It's just if you're going to use
first time I was like, let me just drip up. Don't say the name because somebody already be at the patent office talking about, you throwing out a BlerDCon application too? All right, cool. We about to be
exactly.
This is why we can't, as a people, and I think about this all the time. A great opportunity comes to you or is on its way to you, and you're so enthusiastic that you put a post on social media saying something amazing's coming. Can't say nothing yet, but I'll wait till tomorrow. That part that can't say nothing yet. He's talking to black people. That y'all mess this up for me. I'm gonna wait till the contract is signed because I know y'all gonna mess it up if y'all find out I'm applying for a job. Right, I'm applying for this job, and I know somebody working Target too, and you ain't getting no manager position. We got a weird phone call before we said something about your past, and it's the same way with these creative ideas. You just gotta run with it, just make it happen.
Yo, holla at me. I got mad ideas. Yo, just work with me. Now, I guess what precautions are going to be set in place come 2022 as like a preemptive strike to stop any bullshit that may occur?
That's a big category, bullshit.
I mean, although we're like a month removed from 2021's BlerDCon, you got a whole 11 months until next year's, but like, has the team discussed anything? Is there anything that's, is concrete now? Is there anything that you're, thinking about that's like 80% there that we're going to do? Like, is there anything like somewhat solid or solid?
Well, it's just really interesting because, with 5 months of planning and what could have very well been a hugely diminished crowd, we actually ended up doing more and expanding BlerDCon in 2021 than we would have normally done in any other year before. We had the third stage. There was a whole concert going on 2 days, almost 12 and a half hours per day concert running outside in a parking lot, act after act, DJ after DJ, LED wall. I mean, you've seen the video. It was an amazing stage. So that's going to happen again, for 2022. We're going to do a lot of stuff that's thematic. I mean, I'm really, really excited about the homecoming theme.
Yes,
I'm a product of HBCU, and that experience is almost inherent with homecoming to the point where the Black people who went to PWIs, or anyone who went to a PWI, they look at the title homecoming and they kind of cock their head to the side. So what exactly is happening next year? Everybody who went to or is familiar with the Black college experience is like, oh shit, oh man, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that, because they know, what that connotation is.
They're gonna have an all-white drum line or some shit.
Band or first of all, white bands don't have a drum line. That's
remember that one dude on fucking what's name on drum line that was beating that bass and shit, beating that drum.
Oh, you talking about Big Percy? Every band got a Big Percy. You gotta have it. But yeah, like doing a band, maybe some type of small limited parade, depending on what kind of route we can get in Crystal City. Maybe doing some step teams come through and do a little something from local colleges. And it really depends on who's available, because it's summertime, everybody's scattered to the winds. Yeah. So trying to do those negotiations now and figuring out what we can bring about is going to be important. This also may color some of the content as far as what panels are submitted. We're also looking at maybe some of the guests, that we might bring about that are thematically in that theme, or the cosplay, that we might be looking at. There's a lot of ways of inserting, which is really the art behind BlerDCon. Is each year we have to find a way to take the Black experience and weave it into the nerd experience and make it look seamless. Because if it's just nerd Black, it's going to be weird, and it's a very, very fine line between Black nerd and Black excellence. We could very easily, it would be the easiest thing in the world to make BlerDCon a Black excellence festival, which is anybody Black who's doing anything could come. But I'm like, we got to stay in the nerd lane in order for BlerDCon to be BlerDCon. So the guests that we bring, like if they don't have a voiceover for an animated character, or they're not doing something sci-fi or at least horror, I can't really do a whole lot with you, because it's not a pop culture con in that way. So trying to weave that in, like with the barbershop, there was some amazing responses we got to the barbershop, both in 2019 and in 2021. We partnered with this group called Clip Dart. And this brother is out on the West Coast, and he's got an app, and he sends through his foundation Black barbers to white colleges to give the black students at those white colleges edges.
Giving Chad a fade.
No. Well, I mean, Chad may want one, but he's really there to give free haircuts to the black students at the white colleges. Because if you're in Ames, Iowa, you know, where's your black barber? You know, and you're running around with your ears all fluffy, trying to figure out what to do.
Shit, send some of those to UConn.
No, hey, he might already be with it. But he actually worked with us, and we got the 2 barbers we got. One of them was from Colorado, flew in. One flew from Arizona. And I mean, those dudes were doing some serious work. So we're going to be partnering with them to expand that next year. And then again, you know, musical guests, you know, I want to get a go-go band this year. Weren't really able to make it happen last year, but really, really, really want a go-go band. And everybody I'm talking to about it, I'm like, I got to have a horn section. As long as I got a horn section, I don't care. As long as I see a horn section, I don't care. You know, I just we got to make that happen. But a lot of what you saw in 2021 will be replicated in 2022. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of nuance or things that we're going to add to it structurally beyond that. I mean, I think we've cemented the Spades tournament. We figured out a way to make that work because that was bigger than the room that it was in 2019. And now we got a way to make it pop and make it as big and as expansive as we need it to be.
Shit. You talking about some black shit? This some black like you're like I love the black. I love like the blackety black shit that you implement though. like the spade shit. Like when I saw that shit, I was like, yo, I'm gonna shed a fucking tip, man.
Well, you know, it's funny because you know there is a line because there are some people who get like, oh man, that's too black. I don't think they can get it. And I'm like, even if they don't,
that's because they worried about white people. We ain't worried about white people this weekend.
No, it's not white people. It's black people who don't know how to play spades because you know how it is. Once you're 15,
too many of those.
Nobody's gonna teach you how to play spades in Black America. You can't walk up on those spades. They're gonna be like, if you don't get up, where's your daddy? You don't have a daddy. Where's your uncle? I'm not your family. I'm not teaching you to play spades. Right. Nobody want to teach you how to play spades. So that part of the black community, and remember, it's a spectrum. You know, you got the black community that have had the black experience and are products of it. And then there are the people who are black who have not had the black experience. Right. Because they're from Sanford, North Carolina, or, you know, Booganook, South Carolina, or whatever. And they're coming to get it, you know. And I think it's similar when you see who's coming to the HBCUs. A lot of the black people who go to HBCUs will tell you, I grew up in a white neighborhood. You know, I've lived in this era. All my friends are white. I went to all these white schools. And I was like, you know, I really need to connect with my people. So I'm going to an HBCU so I can connect with my culture. Connect with my people. Exactly. And those folks are I think there's a lot of them that are using BlerDCon as kind of that same way. Like, wait, you know, I don't have like a black environment for my
cousin.
And then you come in and then it's like, I mean, look, y'all were there in 2019.
Yeah.
Right.
And you saw the faces of at least one or two people who obviously had never been in a room.
Lost in the sauce.
What? Like, I've just never seen this many black people anywhere ever for any reason. And they're just kind of like frozen and in awe, just kind of looking around and don't really know what to do. Yeah, those are the ones that I'm like, okay, Spades tournament, that might go over some people's head. But it ended up being a really positive experience. What I would add is maybe we have a panel on Friday if the Spades tournament's on Saturday. We have a panel that teaches the fundamental of spades for people who don't know it. Right? Huh?
That's dangerous.
Right?
I don't know. You might be saying some people
go through. We just gonna go through the fundamentals of BidWiz, the fundamentals. What's a cut book? How do you bid? What's board? What's a Boston?
That might be a setup. That might be a setup because somebody like, oh, I watch this fundamental and get in there with somebody who really plays spades. And then they be like, yo, you gotta get off the table right now.
I'd almost got in a fist fight with my frat brother in Atlanta over a spades game, man. I thought he was going to kill me in the parking lot because I cut it.
Wait, why'd you tell me you had that book?
Yeah, I mean, we cut my diamonds, nigga. I'm like, dude, that was an hour ago. What are you talking about?
No, fuck that. Shit. Everybody remember that shit.
They watching the board. I was cutting diamonds the whole time. I swear to God.
Nah, but y'all, like, it's kind of like a rite of passage. Like, you know, if you get like, if somebody cuts your books, you gotta fight about it after. But it's like, yeah, we gonna be boys again though. Like, it's all good, but it's just like I punch in your face though.
Oh yeah, some people might not be boys after.
We got
not. If you really friends,
maybe we give them. Maybe we give them beginner stickers. Like, you know, like a student driver sticker they put on a car.
Yeah, you gotta have like the beginner, student, intermediate, and advanced.
Like, do that. That might be somebody come up and say, "Hey, you know, can I play with you?" Be like, "Nah."
Let me see your wristband.
Yeah,
they're only in base form.
Yeah, if you got a green wristband, sit that fucking beginner table. Don't talk to me. Hey, if you got a yellow, I might can fuck with you. Red, but you know what? For advanced players,
people snuck in, and we didn't even think about it this way, but. Because it wasn't intended to be this way, but Uno is a black game.
Oh yeah,
in ways that we're really just. I mean, it wasn't designed as that, but that's our.
It's only a black game because we cheat.
It's not cheating. Those are the rules.
No, we love hitting.
My nigga, we'll throw
with draw 4.
Yo, we'll throw 8 draw 4s on a motherfucker. And be like, yo, nah, ain't no rule that say that, nigga. Come on, we 8. How the fuck you? You know the rules. You know the rules at 8.
As I yell Uno.
Yes.
Now you take this whole deck.
Or you only say Uno on your last card. You got to pick up some more. Like, what the fuck? Like, I ain't even put the card down yet. I hate that.
So they were playing both at the tournament. So we could probably include that too. So anyway, yeah, that's the whole idea.
Yeah,
at the same time,
bringing in as much blackness into the nerd space as we can, and you know, so that it is unique. I mean, there's really. You know, people ask me like, "What's the secret sauce for BlerDCon?" And I'm like, "It's the people,
Niggas.
And it is what we can do that other cons can't do." You know, I mean, you don't have the institutional DNA at an all-white convention to do a spades tournament without people getting mad. You know, I mean, no, that's what it's almost literally what it's called. And you know, if you were to do it, like people might get offended. Like black people, if you did a spades tournament at your local, just regular con run by Joe Blow White guy, like y'all will be like,
nah, these fucking white people pandering.
It's pandering. I'm uncomfortable. Not sure what's, you know.
You got the Henny on the side
because we're in the space that we're in.
Yeah, ain't nobody cussing. Ain't no Henny on the side. Ain't nobody uncle fucking on the grill.
And shit.
When the barbecue truck got pulled up for the first time in 2018, and I saw he was wearing white socks with Crocs, and he was making his barbecue sauce he had a big old tray, like a tub of cans of Coke 45, and I thought he was selling Coke 45, and I was like, I wanted one. I would never go into a liquor store and buy a Coke 45 as an adult, but I'm like, hey, it's hot. There's a Cold 45 in there. He's like, nah, man, that's for my barbecue sauce. I said,
oh, shit.
Like, if you're making your barbecue sauce out of Coke 45,
yeah. I'm right.
I'm sold. You ain't got to tell me nothing else. I'll be back. Let me know when the grill's fired up. He's been there every year since. I mean, you know, and even with the food truck rally, you know, we curate as many, like there's only 2 trucks that are not black owned out of the 16 that come to BlerDCon. And one is a pizza truck, and one is the noodle truck. We're just not doing noodles yet. When we get to doing noodles, I'll call, you know, the brother. But right now, we ain't got nobody doing it.
We ain't got nobody doing noodles.
And so people are like, even looking at these black-owned trucks, you know, you got the Jamaican vegan truck, and you got the barbecue truck, and you got the slider truck, and the ice cream truck, and, you know, we're all doing it, you know, but, you know, however we can insert it in, you know, every year we want to do something new, and that's how we do it.
Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. Them food trucks is where niggas call a lot of action at the food trucks. Like, y'all be going to these parties and all that. Chicks get hungry. And it was a lot of action caught at them food trucks, man.
Food is a universal aphrodisiac. You can get, like, girl, you want a rib? Like, that sounds biblical. I think Adam said that.
One rib.
Let's give me one rib. $4, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's like we had the opportunity.
Hey, baby, can I buy you a fish sandwich?
Right. You know, like being able to eat, and people take that for granted sometimes. There's a lot of cons that are subject to whoever signed the contract with the convention center. And you go to the convention center, and it's like, it's the same 4 sandwich places, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. But then if you had the opportunity to bring 16 food trucks run around the clock for 3 days,
right?
People don't think about food. Like, the food is an experience. The music is an experience.
Right.
That people are taking the memories from this time that they're spending at the con. I mean, you look, if you take a moment in time and you attach an emotion to it, people will never forget it. Right. And that might be food. That's an emotional connection. Like, oh, I heard Frankie Beverly Mays came over to DJ speaker while I bit into this rib, and I saw my ancestors, and a pretty woman dressed in a cosplay came over and said my name, and boom, you will be in your graves thinking about that memory. Like, yeah, that was a good day. Right. Yeah. And all we got to do is get out of the way and let y'all have those moments and not try to overcook it.
Yeah, like the ones who never went there, they bought in some freshly made chicken and shit like that. Oh, remember who you are. You like, all right, all right. I guess I belong here.
That nigga said you buying some chicken, you move faster. Remember who you are.
Say we bite into the chicken into the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get one of them fucking That's So Raven flashbacks and
shit. It's funny, but that's actually the experience I had with the barbecue truck. I can't actually. I talked to my man Stackhouse. I was like, dude, I can't have y'all barbecue because the itis kick. I gotta be sharp. Stuff happens. If I'm eating this, because I'm eating. Like, when I'm eating, I'm hungry. And if I go up to my room and I'm just trying to eat in peace, because I can't eat in peace because everybody needs me for something. If the sun can see me, everybody can. So I'll get up to my room, and then the itis kick in, and then I'll go to sleep. Rome will burn while I'm knocked out. I can't do that. So I gotta put that stuff in the fridge and hit it on Tuesday. I'll buy it today, but I'm gonna hit it on Tuesday because it's, I just can't do it. Really, really, really. But yeah, 2022 is going to be special. I think this is going to be, I really think we're going to be in a better place as far as COVID. I do not anticipate us having any COVID restrictions as far as the, mandates and stuff like that. Don't put anything past America and Americans to, screw up a good trajectory. But I think next summer we'll have this under control. And we can kind of get back to normal, and there are a lot of cons that are not coming back, and we're starting to see it. Like, there's people looking on the account like, didn't, XYZ con used to be here on the account? Like, no, they're not coming back because, and so I think we're going to be in a really good place, and we're going to put on a really good show. And like I said, we take this stuff in stride. This is our job. You take on the responsibility. If you create a convention, it's not going to ever be perfect. It's something that you're constantly perfecting, and you try to do it in as constructive and as thoughtful a way as you possibly can. And like I said, there's always going to be half of the community that's skeptical about a con like BlerDCon. This is how we're built, and but 50% is a lot.
But yeah,
I mean, you saw what we did on year 3. Like, we forget 2019 was year 3. Mm-hmm. We had 2 years of experience running the con before 2019. That was a 2-year-old convention happening in its 3rd year, the year you saw it. And if we get any kind of longevity, and if we're able to have any type of growth that is commensurate with any other convention, we will end up being that 10 or 15,000 person convention before we get, past 2026. And so we're always going to have to be growing and expanding and changing, because stuff we're doing today might not fit 2 years from now. There's stuff we were doing in year 1 that don't fit this year. And like I said, there are people, like, I talk about the crazy folks on the far, 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 far fringes of it, but the funny ones are the ones that talk about us every year, and then they come back every year. And I see them at the con having a ball, shaking their ass at the parties, and just high-fiving everybody, having a great time. And I'm like, okay.
let me tell you.
That's the cycle. That's the cycle.
BlerDCon 2019 changed my life. You done got me some action. I ain't gonna speak for everybody else. You got me some action.
I got you action.
Got me.
Top three.
You created this con.
Oh, I thought you liked that. I know somebody.
No, but you created this con. I went there. Shit transpired. And then, appreciate you, my brother. Now,
some things I cannot take credit for.
I don't give a fuck if you want to or not. I'm giving you the credit, though. Without you, listen. You know what? Never mind.
Top three.
Top five? Yeah.
No, top three.
Oh, that's what it was?
Yo, you two niggas have to relax. Told you I should.
We'll talk offline. We'll talk offline.
Yeah, we'll talk offline. Yeah. Yo, if y'all haven't heard our fucking BlerDCon recap of 2019, you can go ahead and check that out now. Boom. So, now I went to go try to book my ticket for 2022, and is the hotel still giving discounts or no?
Yeah. If there's still rooms available, the room block is posted in the Facebook group. I don't know if it's on the page yet. We're doing a revamp and moving our server at the moment, so I don't know if it's on the page yet. But if you go to the Facebook page, where we keep it pretty much purely BlerDCon information, it's like maybe 3 or 4 posts down where the link is. Okay. And I think that's probably $109 or $112 a night is the room rate. Also, anybody out there who's on the fence about getting a VIP, we got about 50 VIP badges left. Like there's like 150 of them have already been sold. It might be more. I checked a day ago, but people are really buying the VIPs. And last year was the first time that we really, really leaned into VIP. And I'm telling you, there's only so many we can do. I caught so much flack, not flack, but people were really disappointed because they were on the fence and they were waiting for their cousin and they wouldn't. And then once they sold out, they were like, Hilton, can you give me one more? And I'm like the tickets that are in they're online at a certain number, and I can't like go back and change it. So get that, because it's going to be off the hook this year. We're doing some really innovative stuff. I don't know if you heard, but we did some really cool stuff with quiet ordnance technology based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. It's those silent disco earphones. Are you guys familiar with those?
Oh yeah, the little neon joints, and you could set the music to what you want and party.
Exactly.
What we did was we put two. So just niggas bouncing around, but you don't know what they bouncing to.
Actually, these were a little more mundane. We give it to people in the VIP, got them for free. And what we did is that we put microphones in 2 of the main panel rooms. And so even if you weren't in the room for the panel, you could turn to channel 1 or 2, and there would be 2 panels that you could listen in on, even if you didn't get into the room. And so people really took advantage of that. There was a third one that we were piping in from the main ballroom in, and we're going to expand that and do some more things with it. Musically and content wise for 2022. We're definitely going to have the dedicated registration for VIPs, so you're not going to be standing in line, because we did have more of a line this year than I've ever seen at BlerDCon. It was around the corner, up the street, it was crazy. Like on Friday, I'd never seen it like that. But that's the enthusiasm of the people, and we're used to it now. And then, the parties, are going to be off the hook. This is what we did this year that was revolutionary. We did a late night party called a pre-dawn, and we went from 11 o'clock to 5 a.m. on Saturday. So I normally a hotel party in any hotel, lights on, 1:30, everybody out.
Everybody get the fuck out.
By 2. I was like, nah, people got too much energy. And I told the hotel, I was like, if y'all want people screaming and running around and acting crazy in the middle of the night, that's how you do it. I said, but if you let them in that room and you let them DJs spin, we can have them crawling on their bellies out of there. They'll be so tired. They don't want to do nothing after that. And then y'all can have a quiet place and everything. And they were like, okay, let's do it. So we had it was roughly 7 hours with the party, with the concert that we had with Afro Cocoa Puff. So there's a lot of revolutionary stuff that we did that we're going to repeat and expand on. So just keep an eye out for the announcements, and hopefully the guest list will be able to expand. Once COVID starts clearing up, we got some ideas and some folks we want to reach out to, but we'll see what the fall holds.
Okay, so right after this episode is over, I'm gonna go ahead and book my ticket, and hopefully, we can get to 2022 without any crazy viruses, fucking COVID, whatever the fucks, and we can just go there and have a good black ass time.
Get your shot, man. Just get it.
I'm gonna get the
Illuminati. I know it's the Illuminati. Just let them have it, man. I know it's the nanites. Just take the nanites, man.
I want the nanites, man.
Look. We going. This. Look, I know in 30 years we're gonna be the Borg, and they're gonna trace it back to this shot. But for now, let's just do it. Just do it.
Now, my whole thing is that stop calling it a vaccine when it's just a shot. It's not a cure-all. It's just a fucking shot to make sure you don't fucking get the worst of the symptoms. Stop calling it a vaccine. Vaccines cure shit. Just don't cure shit.
No, a cure stuff. Vaccines prevent you from doing exactly what they do. It's like it keep you from dying. That's all it is. That's all it is. So when you get sick, you get a little sniffle, a little red eye. Your homeboys can still hang with you and be like, oh, look at you, got a little red eye, man. Look at you.
Yeah.
COVID ass, but just joking. You can joke with COVID when you get the shot. Now, if you don't have the shot and you get COVID, people be like, oh man, you got your affairs in order.
Yeah.
Legal Zoom and like you don't want that.
Legal Zoom.
I don't want to lose nobody else to COVID. I'm telling you, I'm mad at COVID.
Man.
It's ruined my life. It's the worst thing that I could have ever met. A comet could have hit Earth and done less damage to the world, killed less people than this damn virus. I mean, depending on where it hit, obviously, but still, I'm like, dang, it messed up my con world. I didn't know all my friends went to cons. Yeah. I didn't know that all the people that I consider friends, I would see them at cons. I thought I had all these friends that lived around me, and ain't nobody living there. I'm like, oh, where y'all at, man? Oh, New Jersey. Damn, I thought you lived there. Oh, because you see him at MagFest, and you see him at Otakon, you see him at BlerDCon, and you see him at, KatsuCon. You think, oh yeah, Maryland, DC. Where you at? Boston. Damn. I'm not going to Boston.
Going to fucking racist ass Boston.
I'm not going to Boston.
Yeah, going to racist ass Boston. It's racist as shit
going
up
back
there.
to Boston. Yeah, so yeah, I miss it. I miss the world. So hopefully we'll be safe and back in business soon.
Yeah, so hopefully you'll see all three of us at BlerDCon 2022. Hilton, is there anything else that we didn't cover that you want to say? Is there any, feeling that you want to put out there? Any statement you want to put out there? Anything that you want to say in closing?
The thing that I've always wanted for BlerDCon is what has shown to be true time and time again. Even when we get stuff wrong, I want people to look at BlerDCon as their con. And if the solution requires your input as a community, or requires your volunteerism as a community, or just, you communicating with us, that's what I'm looking for. There are cons out there that people look at as this administrative function that they could give a damn about. And I think a lot of the anger and even a lot of the hurt that some people felt about this last issue was because they love BlerDCon and they love the Blerd community, and even if that turned into anger toward us, it still comes from a place of love, and I've always wanted that for BlerDCon. And I am convinced that if we continue to have dialogue and realistic expectations of one another, from the management and the leadership to the attendees and the participants, there's really nothing that we can't get past. And, like I said, I'm just a nerd like everybody else here, and my Black experience is projected onto the convention, and the community shapes the direction that the con goes for the most part. I don't do anything that the con community doesn't enjoy, that doesn't make any sense. So your continued feedback, your continued engagement is always going to be beneficial to the convention, even when you're mad, even when you're kicking stuff over at your house or cussing us out in private chats or whatever. That's still okay, as long as at the end of the day, we're all working toward a better convention and the betterment of the community. Because like I said, there's a lot of folks out there who may not be bold enough to reach out to me directly. I understand that. People are very non-confrontational in the Blerd community, and that's fine. But,
yeah, not me.
An email, a message, hit the questionnaire. It's anonymous, and just put your suggestions out there at the end of each convention. That's what we need. That is support of Black business, is even when we get it wrong, or even if you see something that needs drastic and immediate correction, that we're all on board to make that happen. Because 2022 is going to be so dope just because of us having to go through some of the things that we had to go through to get 2021 right. And these types of discussions, this type of dialogue is important. So I really appreciate you guys inviting me on. I know there was some fits and starts with the scheduling and stuff, but I was like, no,
it's all good.
As many opportunities as we have to talk about these issues and talk about this collective project that we're kind of on, which the con is, there's no way we can lose. There's no way that we can not have a fun weekend and have stories that my man here is going to talk about as soon as we get off.
Right. I mean, you gave them niggas the interview first, but shout out to them. Appreciate them. For getting all the other questions out the way, because I ain't have 3 hours to just sit here and ask you all that shit. But you answer most of it. I think from what I've heard from them, head nerds in charge, and what we asked here, I think you pretty much covered everything. If you revisit this thing again when it comes to, I guess, like there's a whole, I guess, case with like not sexual assault, but like revenge porn, whatever the fuck, the contests, whatever the case may be, I think you pretty much covered all bases. Now all we have to look for is 2022. My nigga, appreciate you for being as Black as you are, throwing the blackest convention that weekend that I can think of. Coming up on BlerDCon 2022, we'll probably talk to you again to see what you implement or initiatives that you have, or if anything's changed, whatever the case may be. Probably talk to you then, but
come back down here, man. Look, we got cons that's gonna happen this year, and if y'all feel safe enough to come out, man, I will be at other cons. I will be
find somebody to go. I don't like going places by myself. I gotta find somebody to go.
Who are these cats?
I don't leave the house.
Wait, you got a low jack on your
so
Hesh. You got a low
the
jack
hurting fat nigga, right?
Ankle?
The fat nigga that's hurting, right?
Yeah.
He don't really like people. I don't really fault him for that. I don't really push it. Boom. This nigga, I don't know what he be doing. He be tired of a whole bunch of other shit. I don't be asking no questions. I'd be like, yo, you want to do it? He said yes or no. Either he with it or he ain't. Okay, cool. I got to find other people to go with. I mean, I can go down there and make friends probably, but it's just like I don't like initially going down there by myself.
I don't go nowhere by myself.
You said what, Hesh?
I have a choreographed group of people that's going to be there with me or meet me there. So I'm with you. I'm comfortable in crowds, but I got a mission, so I got to have my people with me.
Right.
So if you go to a con, BlerDCon's going to be there. I'm going to be there. You'll have people there, and the con. We bring a little bit of BlerDCon with us everywhere we go. Mm-hmm. So we'll be going to cons this fall. I'll be at Anime NYC. I'll be at New York Comic Con. I'll be at NecoCon. I'll probably be down at Momo's Winter Fest in December too. Afropunk in September down in Atlanta. So I'm out here promoting BlerDCon and doing partnerships and stuff. So if y'all look at something and you hear that we're gonna be there, man, y'all family, come on through.
Pull up.
I mean, look.
Everybody pull up. If you can hear the sound of my voice, pull up. Hilton gonna be there. You can ask him anything that we didn't ask, anything you want to ask him.
Oh, you put me to work.
I mean, we got a pretty solid fan base, dog. I don't know who's gonna pull up the wood, dog. I don't know. But as always, Hilton, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on and expressing everything. I think you answered everything that I had to ask. So I guess until 2022, I guess we'll holler at you, man.
2022.
All right, man.